Okay, Tony, another year. We're ready, I assume.
We're ready. We're as ready as we've ever been. Season 13 for myself and my family running the Steelers, and I guess it's going to be lucky 13 for us all being well.
Yeah, we've had Aaron in this morning. He's confirmed the whole squad, the latest signing of Josh Nichols, and on paper at least it looks a very impressive unit he's put together.
Yeah, we've not held back this year. We've given it everything we can. We do every year, but this year's a little bit special. I think we've upgraded on the D. No disrespect to the guys that have been and gone, but I think we've gone heavy on the D this year. 5 import D, 1 British defenceman in Sam Jones, and the guys up front, first line looks to be second, and we look to be with a brand new first line of big hitters, so really looking forward to it this year.
We try and win every year, but I think Aaron knows that this is a really big year for the club, doesn't he?
I love to put pressure on people, and yeah, the pressure's on this year, there's no doubt about it. You just read the fans' thoughts, and it's very clear to me that they want success, and there's only so long you can get away with telling them we've got to make the club stable, because then we move forward. Well, we've been stable for quite some time now, so I guess the other side of it is the fun side, when we can start to look at winning trophies. We've done one, the Challenge Cup just before COVID was fun, but now we've got to get down to the serious stuff of winning trophies, because that's what our fans deserve.
And our partners in the league haven't made it easy for us. They've improved as well, haven't they? Belfast, Cardiff, and now Nottingham coming back, and of course Glasgow under new ownership as well.
It's a hell of a season coming up. We've got new ownership in Glasgow. We've got, I think, 4 or 5 new coaches around the league. We're all going to want to impress the fan bases and their ownership, and I see this being one of the most competitive seasons in the Elite League we've ever had.
Off the ice, obviously we've got the Tron, but we move forward with merchandising. We've got our new season ticket system. Everything is just ongoing and moving forward month by month, isn't it?
It's what we do. We take small steps all the time and make things better. The fans don't always see what's happening behind the scenes, but we try and take these small steps every season to just make the business better and the club more successful, and obviously hope that reflects on the ice as well.
The point I try and make is that actually every decision that's made is with them in mind. It sometimes doesn't seem like that, but it is in mind to make it easier, to make it better, so their enjoyment of our night and our game experience is a better one.
It is, and I'd like to think, and I'm sure a lot of fans out there will contradict me, but I'd like to think we're one of the best shows in the Elite League. Certainly the biggest fan base, nobody can dispute that. A lot of the other clubs are stepping up and sometimes surpassing us with the light shows and things like that, but we're a little bit restricted on that side of it. But I'd like to think that we're still one of the best nights out, one of the best shows in town.
Okay, that's the Steelers as a team. The Steelers as a club, or the Sheffield as a club, got a little bit bigger a few weeks ago with your acquisition of the Steel Dogs. I'm sure a few people might have missed it. It didn't create too much attention. Tell me what was in your mind about getting involved with the Dogs, and what you hope the acquisition of the Dogs is going to bring to us, perhaps not this year or next year, but down the line.
I think you have to remember that playing career of ice hockey professionals is very short, and we have to keep backfilling. It's a bit like a bucket with holes. If you don't keep dropping talent in the top, then eventually the talent drops out at the bottom and there's nothing behind it. And that has always been paramount in my mind as to how we recruit the next Robert Dow, Davy Phillips, Jonathan Phillips. We had to find a way of recruiting these guys, and the Steel Dogs was the obvious choice. And we decided that if we could get a deal done on the Steel Dogs, then it was the right thing to do. You know, you'll shortly see that fresh talent will start to come back to Sheffield. Our thought process is that the Steel Dogs will draw in some of these kids, these Sheffield kids who've left us, who've gone to other clubs for various reasons, and those reasons could be political, it could be because they're just not getting the ice time they want, and we hope that they'll take a look at the Steel Dogs and think, well, this is a route to at least be noticed by the Elite League. Aaron Fox will be down at training on a regular basis. In fact, he'll be there tonight, running his eye over some of the potential talent for the future. So It made absolute sense to me to take on the Steel Dogs, not just for the progression of the British players coming through, but as a business in its own right. Someone asked me recently, why the Steel Dogs? Well, my immediate reaction was, why the Steelers 13 years ago? Steelers was a business in liquidation. We managed to turn it round, and it's a very healthy business now with a good balance sheet. We expect to be able to do exactly the same with the Sheffield Steel Dogs.
Perhaps again not in year one, but down the line, do you see links, collaborations, ties, ticketing deals, whatever it is in perhaps years 2 and 3 and 4 moving forward, where you try and build, if you like, a Sheffield family kind of community, so our fans recognise the Dogs are the Steelers of the future?
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing it. Mike O'Connor, our commercial manager, has been out there working behind the scenes to talk to not just Sheffield Steel Dogs sponsors and to ask Smith will come back, but also with our sponsors. And as I expected, they've just taken it up and they're flying the flag for us. You know, some of our sponsors have already committed for this coming season, and there'll be more beyond that in future seasons. And I genuinely think that in time to come, the Steel Dogs will be a force to be reckoned with. Maybe not this year because it's late, but we will be out there pushing to make them perform at a good level in the National League. But it's not just the sponsors, you know, the fans as well. They've already intimated that they'd like to support the Steel Dogs. There was a Tuesday night session recently where we had over 700 fans, a good number of Steel Dogs and a sprinkling of Steelers and other fans around the league to support the Steel Dogs and make sure they came back to the National League. I envisage that the Steelers fans will pick that up, and when the Steelers aren't playing in the arena, they'll jump across the road to watch what will be the future talent.
It was obvious for those watching from the outside. It was a battle. It was a fight to get the Dogs. Worth it, you think?
Yes. One of the biggest battles I've ever had, and one I wouldn't want to repeat. And I'm not going to go into detail into just how we had to play it and what we had to do, but it took a long time. It took a lot of effort by a lot of people to get this one over the line, and I don't want to go back there again. We are in the National League, we are the Sheffield Steel Dogs, and we will do everything to support that club just like we do the Sheffield Steelers.
Let's move on to something else. Shirt launch on the 15th. I got here today. The printers downstairs are going crazy with new shirts. It's going to be a hell of a night again, isn't it?
I'm sure it's going to be one of the biggest nights ever. I'm expecting that on the 15th of September, we're going to have, 3,500 people in the arena for a shirt launch. Can you imagine it? In the early days, it was 200 or 300 people in the Holiday Inn Hotel. We got free parking. It was great. Well, we're getting that at the arena as well, I think. I've said that. I hope Don Stokes isn't listening, but I think we are. It's going to be great. We've got the Rosa Dogs playing. We've got other things happening that night, and yeah, the main focus will be on the shirt itself, but it's just developed into yet another special night for us.
And the brand of the Steelers keeps getting bigger and bigger, doesn't it?
It just grows and grows. The store, the online store, is a business in its own right now. You move that to the arena on match nights, the arena store is a business in its own right. Crazy thing is we open for 4 hours and it's just a phenomenal 4 hours. And then when we close, the online store clicks in and it all starts again. So merchandise is a huge part of this business, like everything else. Shirts play a major part, but there's 700 or 800 other items that we now sell and deliver on a regular basis.
I remember a conversation, as you say, 13 years. It must have been 13 years ago that we had, where the aim is 9,300 ticket sales every single night, and then the problems take care of themselves. And also that backfill, you talked about backfill with the Steel Dogs, but the job that, say, Andy Lincoln does, that backfill of finding new fans is still ever important, because we've got to try and take that average attendance up again this year.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider in Sheffield, in the Sheffield Steelers office, we have 12 full-time staff now that run the Steelers, and we will carry on doing. You're right, the target 13 years ago was how do we make this business work? Well, we put 9,300 people in the Sheffield arena, and everything else will take care of itself. My plan is to do exactly the same with the Sheffield Steel Dogs. It's 1,500, well, it's 1,498, I think. Let's fill that every weekend if we can with fans who want to watch the kids play and the future of the Sheffield hockey. Let's fill that arena as well, and I think that this has got potential to go so far.